Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I asked a bunch of friends of mine to give me some video game tracks that they like, and I got quite a few back. And so originally I was going to do one video on this, but this might be multiple. And yeah, I'm going to listen to these tracks that they've sent me. Some I've heard, some I've not heard before. Kind of talk about them and, you know, how I feel about it. Do I like it? That kind of good thing. So without further ado, let's start off. So first off, you can see we've got Puzzle Plank Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2. Quick background on this, like, Mario Galaxy is a platforming game. This piece of music pretty much sums up platforming music in you know how you'd imagine a platforming game to have. Let's just knock this down just a tad. Anyway, we're gonna listen to it. I will stop it as the you know and talk about parts of the track. But this is one of the most cheerful pieces of video game music I've ever heard. So that lovely like drum roll intro coming in there. Oh yeah, look at that. So it's got like a barn dance feel to it, like So why does this work as a... Let's just bring it back, right? So this is what I like about this track, right? You start off with the you get like the bass comes in, then the guitar comes in, and then it goes bang. So like already 15 seconds into the track, there's a lot going on. Very simple. The track's very simple, but like yeah. That'll repeat then the ding 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 ding. So you've almost got like a syncopated feel. And then we've got this barn dance feel going on with the violin. It's very, very barn dancey. Then we get the change to an electronic instrument. Give that kind of space feel to fit in with the vibe of the game. That kick drum just pushing the track along. Ba 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 ba. Then we go back into the violin. Everything comes together. It's a very short track, by the way. But yeah, you can hit. Now got all the electronic parts in there as well. And then does a big drum roll before it repeats. But this time it's straight in. So it's such a... Firstly, it's hard to not smile, and it's hard to not hear this and think, yeah, this is a platforming game track. It's very, very short, very to the point. You've got a very obvious melody. Video games back when they were on, you know, back in the NES and Master System day, when you had a lot of 2D platformers, if you really want that music to stick in your head, lots of short loops, lots of quick turnarounds on the track. I mean, that whole entire track's about 1 minute and 15 seconds, probably a little less than that. I can't remember the exact level, Puzzle Plank, but the actual music could fit over lots of different stuff, and it's just so got a really warm feel to it. That violin being very jolly, and then I like the switch to the more electronic sounds, so you kind of got that space feel going on. Excuse me. And that it kind of all works. There's a craft to making short pieces of video game music very catchy, but also very memorable. And for people that have played this game, they probably remember this track. I hear this track a lot in certain YouTube videos because it's just such a jolly little thing. But Galaxy 2 is such a good game, and like, you know, the music really sticks out. Obviously, this is a track that I'd heard before. Mark absolutely loves this. He was the one who suggested this particular track. But yeah, this track is I think a very good fit for a platform game, and I think it clearly shows with the boppiness, the upbeatness to it, and it hits you very quickly in. You're not waiting around for the track to build. It's like straight in with those drums. The bass gives you the nice dum 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 dum. So very bouncy. Guitar comes in, very simple, just jan jan jan, and then the violin does the da 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 da, but obviously in a more of a violin sound, and then yeah, followed up with the electronic stuff. So it's I think for what this track is designed to do, this absolutely works wonderful. This is a very good example of how to make a piece of platforming music. If you want something that's very bouncy, and I think this does that well. So, moving on then, we next up have Outset Island from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I believe this is the first island in the game. I have played Wind Waker, so this is the original version. This isn't the HD remake, HD remastered version of the song. So let's have a listen. Oh, that MIDI! I can never remember this track very well. Bump, bump, bump. Oh man. Bump, 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 bump. This has like this sounds like a piece of Zelda music. This is like every Zelda game that has a starting village. This sounds like that. I think it's Mabe Village or something in Link's Awakening. Similar kind of concept of a Zelda game. But like, listen to the way I like how this starts off like. It starts off like, you know, it's either saying this is the beginning of the adventure, or it's like this is morning. This is the vibe I get from this beginning. Actually gives me Mario Sunshine and 64 vibes as well. And then we get into that wop 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 wop. It's very like short staccato typed instrument, so very short notes. To kind of look at this like plodding along feel, that la la. I'm walking today, it's lovely outside, you know. Got that feel to it. There we go. I'll be honest, this is not my favourite Wind Waker track. But, you know, as it is at the start of the game, it's probably going to be one of the more memorable ones. Oh, that's nice. We're kind of all playing together. Oh, that's very Zelda. Just play that bit again. I've heard that in so many different like Zelda things. Oh. This is like I guess used in Ocarina of Time, that style. Bom, bom, bom. It's got a ploddingness to it that, which, again, this is being a Nintendo game. They're very good at making pieces of music that have a jolliness to them, basically, and this is no different. Like the strings in this. That's again very, very Zelda. Like this track is so Zelda it hurts. Wop 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 wop. I think that ends it then. It loops. So that, I think what really makes that track in my eyes, because there's not really any percussion going on, you just got what I can assume is a tuba, or something in the back going whoop 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 whoop, and that kind of like pushes the track along, kind of keeps it going. What works really nice in this track is that you have the main melody, and then a lot of the other instruments come in and kind of take over. So you have like the strings going, like doing a part, you've got like what I assume is like clarinet or something like that, oboe doing a part, and then they do bit the crossover. It's got a very beginning of the game feel. It's got a very like, this is a very safe area feel to it. You know, it is, I believe, the first island in the game where you start up the game and you're on this and you're doing a few different tasks and whatnot. But yeah, it's got a very like jolliness to it. I honestly don't think, in my opinion, that this track sums up what Wind Waker's music's really like, because Wind Waker has a really good soundtrack, and I think a lot of the other tracks in the game sum up the feel and vibe of the game much better. This could be in any Zelda game, honestly. This is like Zelda, the piece of music. This could be in an Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, like any of the games, and I don't think it would have sounded out of place at all. If you're interested in more of the soundtrack for this one, I would recommend listening to any of the other islands that you come across. I think they have more of a, I don't know, I guess more of a, what I would consider a Wind Waker theme, more of a sea kind of theme to them. Some of the boss battle music is also good for that, but it's not a bad song. It's more, if you've played Zelda, it's going to sound like it's straight out of any Zelda game. So, but it has that boppiness to it. It's not as fast as the Mario one, because Zelda games aren't as quick. You know, it's not a platformer, but it has that but it has that kind of plodding energy and that kind of fun. And when you're on the island, you're doing the tasks for people and stuff. It kind of works in tandem with what you're doing. So, yeah, not a bad little track. And definitely worth, like I said, checking out the rest of the soundtrack if you haven't. Alright. Now we've got Vendrana Drifts from Metroid Prime. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best pieces of Metroid music ever written. Very atmospheric. Yeah, let's just get on with it and I'll talk through it. So it starts off, that piano. Oh. So already the track is setting a very specific theme and vibe. So you got the piano going do 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 do. Like you got that kind of repeating melody that plays throughout most of this track. This is also on GameCube, and this is so different sounding to Wind Waker. Like, it's bizarre. Like, I don't know which one came out first, but like Wind Waker is very MIDI sounding. This kind of has more of later on has more of an electronic feel to it. But that piano sounds so good. Like, I love the way it starts, because you enter the area in the game and it's just snow everywhere, and then you get hit with that little piano sting. And then it goes into the track, so let's just run it back, so that like kind of like atmospheric, kind of like wow sound. The piano comes in. You got that boom 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 boom, boom 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 in the background behind it as well. You got like the voices. You got like kind of drops. So like these atmospheric sounds going on. Very Metroidy. Those pew 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 sounds. Got that kind of repeating sound of with the electric sounds as well. I don't know if you heard that. So if you listen back, you can hear that the kind of pew, pew, pew noise of the electronic sounds start to go do 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 do. They're basically being filtered. So you get that boom boom boom. And then it I can't remember if the track breaks now. This entire part is just setting up. Yeah, it's just setting up. And there we go. I like how the percussion, you got that ta 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 ta, ba ba ba, and you got that boom boom, but it's really underused. So when that like that kind of, we'll call it the kick drum thing comes in, you hear it, and if you count 4 bars in musical terms, you realise it's every 4 bars. So it's enough to keep the song interesting, but it's also not intrusive. The percussion isn't trying to intrude on the track. The game's still trying to set a very atmospheric piece. But what the drums do is they kind of, you've turned up at the start of the track, you've turned up in the area, you're getting a feel for the area in this, which is this ice area, and then the drums come in and they just start to give it enough momentum to push it forward, because at some point in this track there is a crazy piano pit that comes in, but so it dies down, then they go pop pop, there that is. Boom. It's just giving it a little bit of pace. Not enough to make the track like really sound like it needs it, but boom, boom, vocals really going hard here. It's all just building. The track just keeps building and building and building. It's kind of like repeating the beginning part, but it's more full now. That like electronic is back. Look at the piano now? Yeah. That's not a piano, I think. Yeah, it's a piano, sorry. So what you see there is like actual progression of the track, because what you're getting generally is the beginning part of the track setting the scene with the piano parts and the different effects and some of the vocals. Then the drums kick in, you kind of repeat that section with a lot more of a full track. The vocals are going harder, everything's kind of playing together, and then it changes with that piano part going like kind of like, you know, you're trying to push the track on a bit in a direction. Like piano stabs, bam, bam, bam. It's forever building. That's what I like about it. It's forever building to something. I like how intrusive those piano stabs are. Oh, there we go. Boom. Now real low, like much darker sound now. Wow, underneath. Wow. So now you've really got more of a beat behind it. Much more electronic sounds, almost like some 80s style of things going on here. Then we've got a change. Before we carry on with the track, what I like about that, when those electronic drums and sounds and that dark boom underneath, you realise the track's been building and building and building, and it starts to get less and less and less again. Let me just... It's just building. It gets to this point, and a lot of the sounds have dropped out. They got more of a string sound rather than the piano playing that na na, playing the main melody. Still got some of the icy effects, but the vocals are pretty much gone at this point. Just got the main piano sting. And now it's just all dark sounding, got much darker feel to it. Like, it's almost like you have, you know, the first part of the track is that kind of sense of wonder and discovery. It's like, wow, this is a beautiful area, you know. And as the track's moving along, it's suddenly getting a little bit darker and darker, and you're starting to see like, okay, there's some secrets to this place. That's the feeling I get. Like, it's almost like this underlying tension that never resolves in this track. Wow, such a nice sound. I love it. Oh god, it's so good. I'm really biased, but I love this track. I love the way it's composed. And then, yeah, towards the end there, you can hear the track just basically turn into an electronic noise before it repeats. Comes back in. I honestly think Vendredi Drifts is probably the best bit of music in the original Metroid Prime. A lot of people, when they talk about this game, do talk about their first encounter with that area when the music kicks in. There is a Vendredi Drifts like part 2 that's, because I think the music changes later on, which is a lot more like drum driven, I think. I can't remember exactly how it starts, but this particular piece of music just works really well with the context of it. Listening to it on its own is quite cool as well, because you get to kind of hear the track builds and builds and builds and builds, and then starts to unwind, but goes much darker, like almost like a sinister Is there like an underlying tension the entire time because you're in this like snowy area, you're not really sure what's around, and there's not a huge amount of enemies in this area, if I remember rightly, but it's just, I love that feeling of building and slowly, you know, adding in various different things, repeating that do 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 with like the electronic instrument, the piano, the strings do a bit of it. Like it's a constant, like that is the main theme of the whole track. That da 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 da, like, and it just builds from there. Yeah, wonderful piece of music. I love it. If you like Metroid Primes or any of the Metroid music, this is absolutely one of the best ones from the entire Metroid series, in my opinion. So yeah, there you go. There's Phendrana Drifts. Alrighty, now on to something that isn't Nintendo related. We've got the original theme, original Halo theme, and I gotta say, like, I have always been a fan of the original theme. This is probably, like, weirdly enough, this came out at the same time as Metroid Prime did. So, and both these games, I don't know much of the soundtrack for Halo. I haven't played it in a very long time, but the main theme is very, 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 very recognizable, and it's probably one of the greatest themes ever written. In my opinion, like the fact that this game and Metroid came out in the same year or very similar, close, they're both fantastic games of their era, very different but defined that kind of space. So yes, let's get into this. Like, it's been a while since I've heard this, so this should be good. Oh, that low kind of rumble. Before we carry on, that low rumble, they go woo, and before the vocals come in. Obviously, if you know the Halo theme, you know it's really famous for this Gregorian chant at the beginning. This is what makes this track so special, is the way that it starts to then what happens afterwards. It's it's pretty good. Also, the use of reverb here. There's a lot of reverb here because obviously you can hear it on the Gregorian chant there, like the vocals like being elongated by the whatever they recorded it in, as well as the low rumble underneath, because you've got like the like going on. If you listen to it underneath, you've kind of got this like kind of low like rumbling sound going on underneath. Occasionally you got drums, bit like that, but like very the track wants you to focus on the vocals, but there are like this rumble going underneath. It honestly sounds like, now having played the games, it sounds like engine rumble. I'm like, oh, that's quite clever. Whether that's what they were going for, I don't know. Alright. This is... So I'm a huge sucker for kind of like congas, bongos, those kind of types of drums that are very useful for setting up a very specific feeling. And this track has a surprising tribal feeling to it that it's weird, because playing Halo and I haven't played it in years, but knowing what Halo is and this track is surprisingly how good this theme fits with the game, but it's also surprisingly like tribalistic. If you want another good example of something with like drums, then the very first level in Donkey Kong Country has the bump 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 bump, and it has that kind of same tribalness to it in Jungle Feeling. But I'm gonna shut up because this track needs, you know, you guys want to hear this. It's weird hearing this track now because it's been so long. It's like, wow, I forget how good this song is. I'm just going to run it back a minute. Because that, like, those drums into what essentially is the most, I guess, catchy part of the track with the strings. Like, that hits like real hard. Just bang. The other strings behind it. that build is so clever and so well put together there. You have the da, 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 and then behind it you just get more layers and layers and layers of strings, and it's just like, what? This is crazy. Let's bring it back a bit. You got that kind of tribal singing. You got the main sort of theme with the strings. Excuse me, then you have that change there. It's really crazy listening to this now. Like, it's just like, what? I forgot just how good this track is, to be honest. Like, it's been years since I've heard it. But like, the build from the strings into the kind of main melody with the sort of female vocals behind it, like, everything hits really hard when it comes in. Yeah, kind of like, I guess I'm kind of, it's like being like mind blown all over again because I haven't heard it in so long. But yeah, I just love that build into the main set of strings that come in and start going da 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 da. But the track just doesn't stop hitting hard. Like, it's constantly building. You've still got the da 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 behind it. You got the female vocals. It's just strings galore. This track. It's crazy. Yeah, this quite change. Straight back into it. There's just so many string sections going on in this track. Big timpani. Then the Gregorian chanting choir guys come back in. It's kind of reaching the peak of the track. Everything to this part. And then absolute. Talk about a way to, you know, back in the day, you pop the disc in, boot up, and you're greeted by essentially this screen, you know, the start menu. Like, whew, like, what a track to set the scene for the game. I mean, honestly, I don't remember any other music from Halo, but like, the theme itself is so iconic, and I know that it gets used in the second game. I believe Steve Vai plays on that version, but I don't know whether they kept the theme in the games going on from there. But like, this does a fantastic job of grabbing your attention with the Gregorian chant, coming in with that drums like kind of like feel, and then you getting hit with the strings doing a very repetitive part, but they're you know, like. And then it just builds from there. There's more strings, a female vocal, and then hits with kind of like the main theme, I guess, with the da 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 like that. Yeah, I literally got goosebumps listening to that. Jesus, it's been such a long time since I've heard it, but like, this track stands out. It's probably one of the best themes ever written for a game. It's this very movie-esque, but very iconic. Yeah, this is a fantastic piece of music. It just has. If you've never played Halo, it might seem a bit weird. Like, if you've played Halo, it might also seem a bit weird because I don't know. There's something weird. It's weird. Like, this track works surprisingly well for the game, but it also seems slightly out of place when you've played the game. But yeah, it's just a fantastic piece of music. It's not that long either, which is what I was saying about how like video game music has to grab your attention very quickly, and this track does that. I mean, this is super memorable. Yeah, absolute fantastic piece of music. I need to listen to this more often. This is super good. Alright, last up we have a piece of music called The Elusive Man from Mass Effect 2. I'll be straight up, I have not played any of these games. I have not heard this track, so I'm going to be going in blind. Out of all these pieces of music, this is the one I'm going in blind. I have no idea what to expect, so let's just get to it. Oh, I like the way it starts. It's like... Alright, so already with the violins, we're playing on the old heartstrings. The violin's very good for that. Very different feel. Oh, I'm not sure what the track's going for exactly, but that it's kind of setting almost like the track in motion, and we're getting hit by these violins now. Ooh, that low note. What's really interesting is what I assume is the guitar going ding 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 like that. It's weird how that's almost double the speed of everything else. So you got that do 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 thing going on. Then you got the violin going same with the bass kind of like playing like half speed. So I don't know how if the track's going to change, but I would say that guitar part is kind of pushing the track along and allowing the other parts of the music to breathe and be slower and kind of come in and out as they want, but we'll see how it goes. Dong. You know what I quite like about this is that it is not a complicated piece of music, in the sense that it's not trying to blast you with a ton of, you know, it's not like trying to rip, you know, it's not shredding solo or crazy drums or anything. You've got the guitar part in the middle that's kind of pushing along, which is the main focus, and then behind it you've got like a boom, 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 you know, just kind of. The track's doing its own thing. I think the focus here is I don't know what this is for. It's called The Elusive Man, so I guess it's somebody's theme. And it's clearly trying to set up a little bit of tension and potentially just trying to have a focus. This sounds like this track is what it's going for. It's not going for anything too crazy. Ooh, we got change. Oh, okay. We got to talk about that. Was unexpected. That was really cool. That I didn't think I literally thought for the most part the track was it. Like the track was just doing that guitar part, those things behind, and then we get that guitar change come in, which I didn't expect at all. So that really messed with my expectations. It's very Mike Oldfield, this song. I love it. Oh, that note. Oh. I gotta say, this is a wonderful piece of music. Wow. What a great piece of music. So, I think the reason why I liked that as much as I did was because, one, it reminds me of one of my favourite guitarists, which is Mike Oldfield, with the guitar part, and there's the do 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 do, which I'm going to assume is this track's in a weird time signature anyway. Secondly, I did not expect that guitar part to change. I literally thought the first minute of the track, which was just, you know, setting the guitar part up, the do do do, and then just having the bwom bwom piano behind it. And that was it. I thought, oh, this is like this theme. And then that guitar change comes in. There's a really nice, like, almost like note in there that gets held. And yeah, and it just winds down. It's got a very specific feeling to this track. It actually reminds me that this could have kind of come out of the more recent Deus Ex games. It's got that kind of feel to it. This just has a really nice... it's got like a somberness to it. It doesn't sound like this is exactly a happy track, does it? But I'm just very impressed with the fact that as somebody who's never heard this before, hearing that guitar part change and that last sort of 30 seconds really makes that track. I'm very impressed with like how this track was and stuff. So yeah, all I can say is like really wonderful piece of music. I should probably listen to more of the Mass Effect soundtrack. Like that's really good. So if there's more stuff like that that's kind of playing on my expectations, awesome. Alright guys, well, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. There is going to be more of these. I have other tracks I need to go through, but this was a lot of fun, sitting here listening to like video game music and just kind of going over, you know, my thoughts and feelings on it. None of the tracks I was sent, no, I like all of them. I would say out of the 5 that we've done in this particular video, Outset Island probably my least favourite, but it's not a bad track. It's just, I prefer other songs in Wind Waker. Halo theme is absolutely amazing. Fendrana Drifts is absolutely amazing. This piece of music, for the first time listening, I'm really blown away by how subtle it is and just the way it's done. And then obviously Puzzle Plank being a very good example of how platform music should be done. So yeah, but if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below as usual, and until next time, I will see you then.